Friends, in this video I am going to explain you how you can seed the data in your ASP.NET Core web application. First of all, we understand what is the meaning of seeding the data. Seeding the data in database means when we are creating the database, at that very moment we are going to create the table, and at that very moment you are inserting the data in the tables. The main thing is, in this demo I am going to show you how you can insert the data in the tables at the compile time, not at the runtime. What is the difference between compile time and runtime data insertion? I am inserting the data. I will explain you. And for that purpose we will use the package NuGet package, entity framework package. You can download it from the NuGet server, and the main emphasis in the video is to explain the difference between DbContext at the design time. DbContext is the class available in the entity framework core, and I hope you already know about the DbContext. The basic purpose is to explain the difference and how DbContext object at the compile time can be used to seed the data. So let us start, and my request is, please watch the video till the end so that you could have clear understanding what is the meaning of design time DbContext and runtime DbContext and seeding the data at the design time. These are the two main objectives of this video. Watch till the end, and I have already written some code for the entity model classes so that we could save the time. You are looking here already. I have the company entity model and the employee model. These two models will be created in my application, and data will be, and based on these two model classes, tables will be generated in the database. Okay, and to communicate with the database I have to use the connection string, and this is the connection string that I will use. Already I am just showing so that I could save the time, and at the design time I will insert some record for the company, and similarly I will insert some record for the employees. So some data are looking here, and once I start developing the application I will use them. So first of all I create a project. This will be ASP.NET Core application project, and it will be empty template, because this concept can be used even at the web, even in the web API or in the MVC, irrespective of any kind of project. If you are developing ASP.NET Core application, then you can use the concept of seeding the data in the API application and in the MVC application. So we first of all create an ASP.NET Core application for seed data app. This is the name of my application, web application seed data app. Otherwise I sort it web app seed data app. So once the application will be created, then we will create these models. Company. I am using the latest SDK. Right now it is 9, but I am using SDK.NET 8. Okay. So first of all I create in my solution a class called company. And I will use all these properties. The last property is navigational property. If you don't know about the navigational property, then you will comment me and I will create another video for that one purpose. So in detail I will explain what is the exact meaning of navigational property. In brief I tell you, it is the property that is used just to navigate from one table to another table. It shows the relationship between two tables. This will not be generated in the database. There is no such kind of column. It is just to navigate. And what it tells, if you look here it tells the company has many employees. It is just telling. Okay, and in this case it is telling one employee is in one company, one to one, and here one to many. Okay, so position or designation, we can also say designation. Okay, now two models are created and I have to generate table based on these two models. So for that purpose, first of all, I will set up the configuration for the database connection, and I am going to use SQL Server. So because at my system SQL Server is already, I open it, and the name of the database I put it here. It is just the template kind I am using, wave. So this is my database name that I will use here, database. Okay, so my app settings file is done. It is just showing the configuration for the connection string. Now main thing is I am going to use entity framework core. So already at my local drive, at my local if you look here, resources web, so NuGet package latest I have already downloaded. So these are the four packages: entity framework core, entity framework design, entity framework server, SQL server, and tools. These four packages that I have already downloaded at my local system. I will install them in my application and I will start working on them. You can directly install from the NuGet server. So how to install the NuGet server and NuGet packages? You can go from here and install, or otherwise you can go add the dependencies, and because the project has the dependencies of the packages, and you go and look in the browse. Because I am not going to use the online NuGet org, I am going to use my local NuGet. So here is my entity framework core. I write here entity. So this one is the first package that I will install. The second package will be my tool for migration. The third package will be SQL Server to connect with the SQL Server. The third is SQL Server to connect with the SQL Server database. And last one is design. Design, if you go here and read, every details is written. So for the design purpose, this one is used. And at the design time, I will use this one package for the. Now check whether all the packages are installed or not in the dependencies node. You go and packages node. So all four packages, and they are the latest for my .NET 8 SDK. Right now it is .NET 9. So I am using this one. Now I build my application. You can go Ctrl+Shift+B. So build is successful. Then and thereafter we will start working on connecting with database. So for connecting with database, we will use an class DbContext provided by the entity framework core package, and I will create a class deriving DbContext. Sorry, I will have to rename it AppDbContext. You can even write application DbContext because generally these two names are popular. And this one is DbContext. This is using entity framework core. My database is open. I also connect with it. Now I will create a constructor for this one. Just put control dot, you will get the idea. Okay, so this is my AppDbContext class, and to create an object of AppDbContext, because this one concept is important to know. Just means mechanically doing the thing is not okay. You are using the constructor and it is asking for an object DbContext options type. So what we will do, first of all, if you want to create AppDbContext at design time, so you create another class. I name it AppDbContext at design time. This class will return me AppDbContext at design time. And if you are using not this one, then how you generate the AppDbContext? You generate the AppDbContext object at the runtime. How? I explain it. So these 2 points just I have to understand, then I will go ahead. This is the conceptual part that you have to understand. We know in our service collection, I mean the DI container, how the DI container I explain. You have the builder.services. So what it returns? It returns iService collection, which is the container which holds all the classes, and it returns an object. Okay, so we register, but we register, suppose I want to register AppDbContext, so I will use add DbContext and I will pass AppDbContext. So what it will do, this method will do, I am not going to do additional configuration for the SQLServer, etc. Then what this service will do, add DbContext method, extension method, it will provide an object of AppDbContext, but it is at the runtime. This is important to know. When your application is running, then if you ask for a AppDbContext object, then DI container will return it. But I don't need it right now. I need the DbContext at design time. So I comment it, and for getting the AppDbContext at the design time, I am going to use this AppDbContext class at design time. So actually for that purpose, I have to use an interface that will help me to get the AppDbContext at design time. So the name of the interface is design time context factory, and this factory will take AppDbContext, because we are this generic AppDbContext, this it will take. Now we implement this interface. If you implement this interface, then it is providing a create DbContext method. By the name it is clear, it is returning AppDbContext at design time. Okay, and it is returning AppDbContext at design time. Now the question is how you will return. You will use this new AppDbContext already you have, but it will ask for a DbContext options, okay, object. Then I will have to create a DbContext options. So first of all, I will use this class and I will create the object of this class, DbContext option builder. Mind it, both are different. DbContext option is another class and DbContext builder is another. You check it here. This is another class, DbContext option. So first of all, I am going to use DbContext option builder, and this will return me this will return me the DbContext option. How it will return, I will show you. First of all, just as we do at the runtime, what we do in the program class, we go and here we do all the, I mean like this we do options. Just for the runtime I am showing you. Then you use, and then you use directory, because your SQL server is based on configuration object, because configuration returns So I use here just for explanation. I am what we do, we use the builder dot configuration. Then based on this configuration, we get the get connection string. Okay, and get connection string, and we put the connection name. So this is all at the runtime. Suppose my configuration where it is, this is the default connection. Connection string name is default connection. So close it and you put it here. So at the runtime, what you are doing similarly we'll do here at the design time. Okay, so first thing is you have to get the connection string and the configuration. So for the configuration purpose, we create configuration object. How? New configuration builder. We know this is the configuration object. I comment it out because it is finally we will use it. So this is the configuration, and then what you will use, you will reach to the base path. Actually what happened, binder, not binder, builder. We have to create the builder so that it can build the configuration. Then we have to use the base path. Okay, so what is the base path? We can use the configuration, but we are not using. So directly directory dot get current directory. So we reach to the base of the application, root of the application, and in the root of the application we have the JSON file, appsettings.json. Okay, this much we have done. Actually not the single quotation. String. Then we finally build. Then what will happen? This build method will return the configuration root object. Okay, so based on this configuration root, we are getting the connection string detail, how to connect with the database. But still we have not done anything about the SQL server. Okay, for that purpose, we first of all create this DbContext option builder and give it a name. Okay, now this object is created. It has the chained method. Now what you will use, just like previously, so I just copy from here because configuration is the same, because the same configuration is string. So both part will be clear to you, how at the run time and how at the design time. It is at the design time. So at the design time, we have the connection string, we have the SQL server. We are using the SQL server to get connect with SQL server, and then builder. Finally, this builder, if you look here, what it is returning? It is returning DbContext option builder. Now if you want new AppDbContext, then this builder has the options, and this will return ultimately DbContext options. Okay, so it is returning the DbContext, and as per the method requirement it returns. Okay, I hope this much is clear to you. So what this is doing, AppDbContext design time, it is returning a AppDbContext at the design time. Okay, this much is done. Now the question is, if I am not running the application because when you run the application, this code is going to run. But without running the application, if I have compiled the application, build, Control Shift B, and then if I use the tool, NuGet tool, package manager console, we go here. Already we have installed the tools package to work with add migration command. This command will do what? This command will run and it will create a migration folder. How it will create a migration folder? This will create a migration folder in our project. Right now there is no migration folder, and in this migration folder it will create a class by the name create database, and this create database class will be generated and it will have two methods, up and down. So first of all we run this command. If everything is okay, if there is no issue in your code, then it will run successfully, build will be successful, and your migration folders will be generated, and what I mean to say, this class will be generated, create database. Okay, so if you look here, there are two methods generated in the create database. Now go and check what is your AppDbContext. Right now there is just database created, not the table. If I run this created class and run it, update database, then this class will execute and database will be generated in the SQLServer. Okay, now go and check in your SQLServer. Right now if you click it, so what happened? Wave seed data app, wave seed data, this connect as per the connection string, this database is generated. And if you go in the tables, there is no table because only the migration history table is created. This table helps in understanding at what time migrations happened, etc. So the company table and employee table is not generated. Why? Because in the AppDbContext we have not given the property dbset. So we use prop and here dbset, name of the company, okay. Likewise for the employees, because we are going to create the table for this. Okay, now save everything and build it again. Now if you run this migration again, then table will be created. So what I do, I write the create tables, because right now I am going to create tables. So what will happen, our next migration class will be generated, and if you go and check here, this is the new right until now there was no in the up and down there was nothing like this create table or something. But now what happened, create table, two tables will be created, and by default, because we are not going to use any data annotation, etc. So these are the default properties. They are the nvarchar, max. If you are going to set the column size, etc., then it will be modified. But I have not used any data annotation in my entities. I am in the company entity or employee entity, so the default value it is taking. And after the migration, running the migration, if you go and run it again, refresh it, then actually I have not updated the database, most probably. I have just generated the entity migration classes. But if I go and update the database, then what will happen, this class will be executed. I mean the migration class will be executed, create tables, and what will happen, our database will be with two tables additional, apart from the migration history. So this one is created, and likewise, but if you go here and check, there is no data populated in it, because till now we have not done something for that purpose. There is no logic given in our code. Just this much part we have done, how to create the database, how to create the tables. Now in the final step we will see how we can populate the tables, seed the tables with some data, seeding the data. So let us continue and see how we can do it. I close everything. Till now everything is okay. Now we create another class, because every class has some functionality. Just like AppDbContext at design time has some functionality, we are going to create another class, and this class will do seed data at design time. This class I am going to create. Now the question is how it will seed the data. So you have to know there is an interface called identity type, then configuration, entity type configuration. Note the word. This entity type configuration interface is going to take a class. It may be company, it may be employee. So this will seed the data. Okay, so now we see how we can do. So it has the method configure and it has the parameter builder. So it has property hash data. This hash data will take company type, array type. You look company array. So we have to pass I have already written it here. Already I had told in the beginning, to save the time I am going to use this one because it will save my time. Okay, and now I feed the data in the hash data. Got it? Hopefully slightly formatting is lost. I correct it. Anyway, I leave it. It is taking more time. Likewise, you will create this name is not so much good. It should be seed data for company or something like that. Actually, seed company, I simplify it. Okay, now it is better. Likewise, we will create another class and name it it will use the same concept. It will take interface, but this time employee type. Okay, and now implement the interface, and just like that, what we have, first of all we have to Perhaps I have written something wrong. Both here will be implied, not company. I will have to check whether I have done something wrong in back. Okay, so first of all I do what? I create some data. This is design. Now it is okay. I had changed position to design. Now what we'll do, we have to use copied at the wrong time. Okay, now we have builder, not model builder, as data. Here will be implies. So these two parts are done. Let me check again whether I have done something wrong here. Companies, company. Okay, it is correct. Now finally we have created two classes for seeding the data, and these classes have the data. Finally what we'll do, when the AppDbContext class will be created, I mean an object will be generated, then at that time there is also a method called on model creating. When model will be created, at that time this will be executed. And here we will apply, sorry, why it is model builder, it is wrong here. Here is the apply configuration, and this apply configuration method takes an entity. So which one entity I have to take? seed company. So likewise here we have to take seed imply. Okay, hopefully everything is correct. Now what I will do, I do another migration, and another migration for the purpose of populating the data. Okay, so I do another migration, populate table. Okay, you can check the migration class whether it is correct or not. It will contain all the data. Look here, all the data it is containing, and it will insert the data and finally update the database. So this much part you need to do the seeding the data in the database. Everything is correct, I hope. Just go to the and check whether data is inserted. Yeah, data is inserted for the company. Likewise, if you run the query, select, then all the, these are the design time records, and very helpful when suppose you are already having the database, already having the table, and you create another one table for just for the development time, testing and other things. So I hope you understood how we can seed the data at the design time using the AppDbContext, and you learned how to differentiate between AppDbContext at the design time and at the runtime. And one thing important, you just note it, There is no controller, nothing like that. Nothing is done. Simply we are using the basic entities classes and thus the entity framework core to do the design type, migration, etc. I hope you understood it, and if you liked, please like the video, and even I would suggest to subscribe my channel. And I hope in the future I will regularly upload some videos. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much.